Okay, it is 4 o'clock on September 21st, 2023. I'll call this regular meeting of the Wolfeboro Police Commission to order. And invite all in attendance to stand and join me in the pledge to the flag, which is way down in the corner. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So in person, today we have, to my right, Chief Chase, Captain Livy, and Commissioner Steve Wood, Commissioner Sean Coop. Commissioner Robert O'Brien is at home but on the telephone with us, recovering from an illness, and our Executive Secretary, Sherry Moore. At this time, I will entertain a motion on the minutes of our meeting from August 24th.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of the meeting of
Okay, we have
August
a
24th.
motion from Commissioner Coop to accept the minutes as written. Do we have a second, Commissioner O'Brien?
Well, just one thing.
Yes.
Clarification. It's mentioned about a spray that was to be used, but not the name of the spray.
Yeah.
I would request that the name be entered into what type of spray it is, so that it'd be clear.
Was that about the spray
Put
area?
up by Brian Deshays.
Okay, he's not in attendance today. We'll have to get that information to make that change for him.
Okay.
And I will add that.
No problem.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. All right, so then we'll entertain a motion to approve as amended.
As amended, yes.
Okay, we have a first, moved by Commissioner Coop, seconded by Commissioner O'Brien. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And we do have a non-public later on. Okay, Captain Livy, are you going to be presenting the monthlies?
I am.
Okay,
You ready?
we are.
So I'll start with the incident cases. Sorry I couldn't get this on the TV for everybody, but the plug didn't work. So incident cases year to date, in the month of August, we had 54, which is an increase of 63.64% from 33 in July. With those 54 incidents, we had 60 offenses tagged in with those incidents. And all the data is behind it, so you guys can see that. Broken down by the officer. The arrest year to date for 2023, we decreased to 22 from 35 in the month of July. That's a 37.14%. A lot of times when you increase on the incidents, you're going to decrease on the arrest sometimes, based on the things. So you see the data that's behind it, broken down by the officer, same thing as the incidents, it's all there. Traffic stops year to date. We're in the month of August, we had 151. That was down from 224. That's a decrease of 32.59%. I know we still had highway safety grants out there, so that was still going out there, but when you have your incidents increase that much, it could take some people off the road for stops and stuff like that. We had 8 tickets given out, so it's a 5.3% chance of getting a ticket last month. So that's not too much. All the data is right there for you by streets. Then you'll see how many we had broken down by speed and all that. Your average speed was 52 miles an hour when they were stopped. So it's broken down by time of day, state, and male, female, and all that good stuff. So you'll see all that stuff. Collision year to date. The good thing is we're going down, still high, at 17. So it decreased 15% from the month of July from 20. So June was 26, so we went down from 26, 20 to 17. So we're seeing a decrease, so that's a good thing. You'll see the streets that it is. It's our normal ones. Center Street, South Main Street. We did have some farther out, Trotten Track, Stoneham Road, and Bay Street, which we get a lot of complaints for speeding, correct?
Not to change the subject away from police, was there a building fire here the other day in town? I thought I saw a post from Wakefield that there was a mutual aid.
No, not that
Okay.
I'm aware of, yeah. I didn't see anything.
The Stoneham Road one was an impaired operator, I believe.
Yeah, yep, hit him
It's an unusual spot for traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it ended up being a DUI. The next thing is the personal analysis report. So we see in the month of August was 54, which you saw broken down by the officer. Just remember, some work midnight, some work days. It all depends on their shift. The big things that you want to see here is the assisting, that we needed 2 officers during the incidents and 22 during, actually 10 out of for the 22 arrests, we needed 2 officers, 10 of them. We needed 2 officers. So those things are good things to look at when you look at this analysis. For the year to date, we have 427 incidents. Compared to last year, we had 394. So we still have an increase from year to date. So they're busy out there. My next one is Prosecutor Morgan. So he had 16 offenses in the month of August. 13 pled guilty. 2 were put on file for 1 year, and 1 was null prost. The total amount was $5,458, and that goes all to the state mostly, or restitution. So you'll have all that data that's right there on that sheet from Prosecutor Morgan. The one thing you don't have that I didn't get to you, but is the budget overview. So when I did this, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I was off Monday. So out of total, all 3 budgets, we're at 68.86%. We should be at 71.15%. So we're underspent by 2.29%. So that's $62,125
I'm
right
afraid
now.
I can't do that.
So we're doing pretty good. There's broken down, and I like to call the cluster of 5, which is hourly wage, part-time, overtime, Social Security, retirement. If we can keep those all together, in the police, which we are doing very well in, dispatch, same thing. We're underspent over there, but the dispatch budget still looking good, 1.81% underspent. No, that's dispatch. And animal control is 10.28%, which is only 2,753. Percentages kind of throw things off a little bit. So we're doing really well, but we do have a purchase order out for the cat case, which is an animal cruelty case that we do have. So I just want to talk about that. We did have, I did do a grant for the amount of $37,000 to the agricultural department. So they look at this in the month of October. Hopefully we get approved from it. It comes back to the town, the money, and then during courts restitution, it goes back to the state. So that's what we're hoping for. But we just did a purchase order for $39,000 and change. So even with the 62, we're still underspent moving forward, so that's good. And hopefully we get this back in the month of October.
So this will be a fully funded grant?
Some of it. We did put out at the end of last year 20,000.
No, that's
Just over 20,000.
This is the one over at Birch Hill
Yeah,
Estates?
yeah. So
And this
good.
goes to the people who take care of the animals, the vet, all the vet
Yeah,
bills.
the vet, Humane
shelter.
Society, really, most of this goes to the Humane Society, they take the brunt of it. So there was 21 cats when we took it, I think there was 19 left, 2 had to be put down due to medical purposes.
And those surgeries.
Yeah, surgeries, we had a lot of surgeries to do.
And what this case, where is it in the criminal in the system now?
Yes, it's in the system, it went in, do I have a date on here when it went in?
I think there was a competency hearing involved, wasn't there?
Yeah,
And,
at the end of it. And that's what finally we could release the cats to the Humane Society. I think actually a couple of them got adopted, so that's good. But yeah,
Is this something we're handling in-house, or is it a county attorney case, or?
Nope, Tim's handling it.
Okay.
Yeah, so Tim's got it. He's handling it right now. I don't know when the trial date is. Do you know when the trial date
I
is?
don't.
I don't. I haven't seen anything new on the trial date, but I know we had the other hearing there, which then that released it. She had to do some things. She couldn't do it. So that released the cats. So that's a good start. That stops the money. Because I think we were up. I mean, total of it is about just over 50,000. I mean, it's a good amount of money.
That's a lot of money, yeah.
So,
There were some legal wranglings, if you will, that kind of make this thing protracted,
yeah.
and we'll be glad when it's done as well.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Okay,
Yeah, hopefully that comes in October, hopefully when we get in here in November.
so there's no school officers report, because school just opened, of course, it's been open for a full month.
In the detective report, he covered shifts
Okay.
for that.
That was gonna be
so
my next
I
question.
didn't really need it.
Okay. Chief,
Yes.
you're up, sir.
I get to talk about the happy things usually. So, in general, heavy construction equipment and traffic are the order of business next door at 251 South Main Street these days, as Phase 1 of the public safety building moves along. We're having weekly meetings with all the principals, captains is in attendance, as well as our dispatch supervisor, Mia Lyons. We meet with them on a weekly basis just to keep up with all the things that are happening. And I want to thank again all our neighbors and others for their understanding and assistance during this project. This happened Tuesday afternoon. There was a 911 report of a gunshot victim on Elm Street, resulting in what I call an all-hands response, and in which we used appropriate defensive measures taken by all our officers on scene. The call proved to be a colossal misunderstanding on the part of the reporting party, but there was a strong presence at that scene for a half hour or so, Captain, I would say, as we tried to sort things out. After the dust settled and after a couple of interviews, there was no crime and no further action required. But it was a serious call. It said a person had taken his life with a firearm, so we went in with low ready position. And it generated a little bit of interest from people heading by, so we wanted to just clarify what it was. It turned out to be kind of a non-event after all.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. We recently did a walkthrough at Huggins Hospital to view available space to temporarily house central dispatch during the upcoming renovations of our public safety building. We're really pleased to report that that looks like an ideal location for us on all fronts in terms of IT folks and getting necessary wires into the building. They all can be accessed at one point. And they were talking in a language I didn't even understand, but everybody was smiling and it looked really good. So thank you, Huggins Hospital, for offering the space. And just to get a sense of where it may be in the building, when they were doing the COVID shots, it was down on the southeast end. And it's a great place for us to make a temporary headquarters.
It's a good size
Yeah, it's a really good
space, and there's
size.
some offices in there, and it's for security purposes.
For our help.
It's off to the side, so they can block the hallway so nobody can get in there for dispatch.
So
There's
dispatch will
fob
be there,
access.
but how much of the operations will be moved over there? Will you folks be staying?
Yeah, we'll stay most likely over there. It all depends how loud it gets for.
I'm trying to work on that a little bit. You know, it's really, right now, it's really loud with just the backup apparatus and stuff. But
Sure.
there's a lot of heavy equipment around.
But there is space there
There's
if we need it
perfect
to.
space.
There is to move over there.
Okay. And they'll be able to renovate around you?
When they get to phase 3, more likely we'll go to phase 2, because phase 2 will be done and we can work in there.
Oh, I see.
It just all depends how loud it's gonna be. That's the big factor.
Yeah. Okay.
The town employees were recognized last Friday at Employee Appreciation Day. Milestones in our own department included Sherry Moore, 5 years of full-time service. Mia Lyons with 20 years, and Captain Libby, you're in your 21st year now?
Well, 20 years, I come up to 21st in December.
All right, congratulations, old-timer. I spent some time this past week with school resource officers Divine and La Rochelle up at the high school. I got to see Eric's new office and talk to them for a little bit. Under outreach for the month, Kevin Duffy, the Director of Security at Brewster Academy, invited us to speak to the incoming class of international students. Captain Libby did the honors. There's much cultural diversity and background represented at Brewster, as we know, and having an up-close chat with these young men and women is really valuable. And we typically focus on personal safety and kind of enlighten the kids on those juvenile violations that could potentially result in a petition and court action. It's a good time was had by all, I think, Captain, right? Yeah. I had the opportunity to speak at the 911 ceremonies at the Wright Museum. That event was emceed by Reverend Dave Lindsay, the chaplain of the Fire Rescue Department, and well done to him for taking care of that. The captain and I met with our superintendent of schools on matters of mutual interest and concern in this reporting period, and I attended the reception for new staff and faculty members at the Fine Arts Building at our high school, and the school board were there. I got to meet some of them. We filmed a segment of Coffee and Connections, our community television production at the gazebo in Cape Park. This was done on a very hot day. Boy, was it hot. And the area was well attended with pedestrian, vehicular, and boat traffic. Many people took interest in what we were doing, and 2 folks sat in for brief discussions with us. Under training, Captain Livy, Sergeant Bullier, Corporal La Rochelle, and School Resource Officer Vine attended alert training at our high school. We touched on that last month, and that's a very, very comprehensive course. And it involved homework, right? Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Sergeant Sparrow completed the FBI Law Enforcement Executive Development Series Supervisor Training, and Officer Jake Boucher completed Field Training Officer School. Parking enforcement and the seasonal 2-hour restriction. There was some interest among the public, especially in social media, about our enforcement efforts of the seasonal parking in the downtown area. So I have some numbers in response to that. I'll quickly go through these.
That's okay.
Okay.
It's important.
No parking, 24 occurrences. Parking in a travel lane, 1. No standing, 1. Within 20 feet of a crosswalk, 2. Left wheels to the curb, one of my all-time favorites, 3. Handicap, 4. Not in a space, 11. The designated bus zone, 1. 15-minute parking, 10 violations. 2-hour parking, 171 violations. Overnight docking, 2. Unregistered vehicle, 22. Wow. Vehicle for sale, 1. That was a total of 253 violations, and I don't consider us trying to be making money on anything, but there was $6,300 in fines meted out. And 155 of those tickets have been paid, and 94 have not been paid yet. So if people are in that category, they ought to look into it, or they'll be facing some court action and could lose their registration. Let's see. I want to acknowledge the good work being done by our school resource officers, Mary Devine and Eric La Rochelle. In addition to their regular duties and responsibilities, they're currently working with staff and contractors on specific target hardening measures, some similar to maybe what's going on in Nassau County, to enhance a safe and secure environment for our children. And some of that's being accomplished through grants that were, I think, paid out last year.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, the IA policy, I'm not sure if that's for public session or not, but the RSA 106L mandates that we adopt an internal affairs policy that complies with all applicable statutes and regulations, and to that end, the captain's done a good job of taking a model policy that was provided to us by police standards and training, and it's been modified to meet our structure, timelines, and procedures. And it will also fulfill the requirements of New Hampshire accreditation, which we will be applying for in the near future. And thank you again for your work on this, Captain. And in the packets today, I have kind of a brief primer on the 106L. And one side it says old ways, and the other one says new ways, how we're going to do that in the future. And the deadline for submission to the state is September 30th. So we should probably take a look at that.
Okay.
Have you folks say yay or nay to what we would submit. Well, a couple other things. Flu clinic at Huggins Hospital will be on 10/18 from 2 to 6 and 10/19 from 9 to 1. And we will have police officers present to assist with traffic there. I'm just thinking, I hope I have the right date. Yeah, it is October, I think. Yeah. And if anybody's still interested in the cruiser that's up for bids, the deadline is September 25th. I have to say there hasn't been an overwhelming response, but one can submit a bid if they would like to. And those should come to me at the police station. And I think that's all I have for public session, except that Sherry and the captain have completed our 2024 proposals. Excellent work on this again. Three have met several times, and last week we sat with the finance director and the town manager. Our bottom line increases within the limitations set by both the board and the manager. And there are some modest increases, correct?
Yes, yeah.
And that's what I have. Folks,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay. Under commission items, our next meeting will be here in the Bradley Room, Thursday, October 19th at 4 o'clock. The other item that I'd like to speak to is social media, I guess. I'll call it social media. Following the MRI report, which we did release in redacted version at the request of various news agencies and other persons, I'm not going to get into all the social media posts. Some of them are really pretty far out there and only add fuel to the fire. But the one that I want to speak to specifically is the allegation that the police commission is doing nothing with this report, that we're sitting on our hands, potentially sweeping it under the carpet, and that could not be further from the truth. Following the investigation that was done by Municipal Resources, the report came back to us. The commission reviewed it. We found it to be flawed, incomplete, lacking context. It seemed to elicit more questions than it answered. And as such, we have initiated an internal affairs investigation, which is running in addition to, pardon me, that investigation. And we are doing this thoroughly with a law enforcement component, which MRI does not have in terms of what's required by the state, police standards and training. Thank you, Captain. We are also working with the New Hampshire Police Standards and Training Conduct Review Committee attorney to make sure that we're following all the correct processes and procedures as we move forward. So once again, like I did when we had the MRI report investigation being conducted, I'm asking for everybody's patience, understanding, and please just give us the time to do this and get it done right. And again, when it is complete, what information can be released will be released. And that's all that I have to say on that. But I understand it's hard for the public when they don't know what we're doing, because they don't see what we're doing, and a lot of what we do is done without reaching out to the public. It's just necessary and has to be done. So this is by no means being swept under the carpet or being brushed aside in any means. We're just digging deeper. Okay. So we do not have a Board of Selectmen rep here today. We do have Tom Bell from the Budget Committee. Tom, do you have any updates for us or anything that we can offer to you? Or?
The budgets are coming together at the department level. I think Jim Pena's got them as well, and you're seeing your own. So at any time, if you would like any sharing it with me, insight or whatever, feel free. Our first meeting of the Budget Committee is the 24th of October. So there's some time to get into the numbers. I'm not sure if they'll be sharing booklets ahead of that meeting. I don't have an agenda for it yet, but okay. I'll keep you informed.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't have anybody here from the public that wishes to speak. So at this time, I will entertain a motion then to enter into non-public session under RSA 91A, under internal practices and personnel matters. Do we have a movement on that?
I make a motion that we enter the non-public.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Coop. Do we have a second, Commissioner O'Brien?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Coop. Roll call vote. Commissioner Coop?
Aye.
Commissioner O'Brien is an aye, and Commissioner Wood's an aye. Okay, we'll stand in recess for a few moments while we clear the room. Thank you, everybody.